I was asked in my first term at Oxford to do a sketch in this one-night show at the Oxford Playhouse. And I'd never written anything, and I'm not really naturally a writer. So I just had to invent a sort of, 5 minutes of something at 48 hours' notice. I just stood in front of the mirror and started to mess about with my face, basically. And this strange, surreal, non-speaking character evolved.
Mr. Bean is the name given to the skin that Rowan can put on to be funny.
You've got a character who is quite intelligent and subversive, but you've also got a character who looks odd and behaves in an odd way and has odd solutions to problems.
Mr. Bean is an anarchist, unintentionally, I guess, though. He's not trying to create chaos, and he's just trying to make his own life work.
You like a try to house wine, sir?
Yes, please. No. I'm driving.
He can be pretty mean and actually do some truly unpleasant things.
He's just able to make something out of nothing, and his physical humor, what he does with that face.
The story of Bean is inextricably linked with the story of Rowan Atkinson. Although Mr. Bean was only christened in 1989, Rowan has been developing the character for most of his life.
Whenever we try to think of Mr. Bean and how he will react or would react in certain situations that we're thinking of putting him in, I always imagine him as a 9-year-old boy. That's how I always see him. They're sort of anarchists at heart, really, and I think that's what Mr. Bean is. He's an anarchist. He'll obey the rules as long as they suit him.
4. Rowan Atkinson was educated at Durham Cathedral Choir School. He is still remembered by his old headmaster, Canon Grove.
I had a member of staff named Cyril Watson who produced plays, and one year he chose St. Joan. And it was obviously a spark of genius on his part to see that Rowan was the perfect person for the Dauphin.
It was quite camp. I seem to remember the first and possibly last time I've ever played someone truly camp.
Shaw's own description was that the Dauphin was a pathetic little creature, yet irrepressible, with a cheeky sense of humour, and always liable to get his own way in the end. And that could be a sort of scenario for Mr. Bean.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Pinching my bottom in a hospital queue.
The first impression he gave was that he was an extremely shy little boy. Though he did say that he had begun his sort of career by being taken by the boys down into the change room and asked to make funny faces for them.
I seem to remember standing up in the changing rooms when I was 10 or 11 or something and putting on a performance.
Right, quiet, please. Ainsley, Babcock, Bland, Cart Horse, Dint, Ellsworth Beast Major.
I think it's very likely that the funny faces were myself and my colleagues.
Jones M, Orifice, Sediment and Under Manager. See me afterwards. Most of you, of course, didn't write nearly enough. Dint, your answer was unreadable. Put it away, Plectrum. If I see it once more this period, Plectrum, I shall have to tweak you. Don't sulk, boy, for God's sake. Has Matron seen those boils? Horrid little twerp.
I seem to remember making people laugh, but of course that was pre-adolescence. And I think once adolescence set in that I never really performed off stage or off screen ever again. It was only before the self-consciousness set in. I think I was quite sort of self-contained. Not, I hope, a loner, but sort of not really requiring the constant company of my friends in order to enjoy myself.
Oh.
My interest in visual comedy was based on discovering a film by Jacques Tati called Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, which I discovered when I was in the sixth form at school because I was the projectionist. And myself and a friend were in charge of that operation, and it enabled us to sort of leaf through film catalogues and order whatever films came into our minds. It just struck a chord with me. I so admired it. It was a kind of an uncompromising comic attitude and setting that I really admired. And so but that was only a filmic experience which influenced me kind of subliminally.
Monsieur. Hein? Monsieur. Comment? Monsieur. Vous permettez. Hulot.
It was something that I forgot about, really, for the 3 years I was at Newcastle University, from where I went to Oxford University. And it was there, really, that it sort of returned. My background and my natural inclinations were fairly northern. And suddenly I was in this very sort of cultured, more sort of southern environment. And, you know, and I was working with, you know, all my friends, if you like, who were reading classics and English and French literature. I was the only one reading engineering science.
When I first met him, he was nervous. And he was odd. I mean, there was a lot of sort of nervousness about being around women generally, which, of course, is fantastically endearing.
Ah, Lorraine.
Morning, Robert.
What do you do at nights?
I beg your pardon?
Do you eat at night? Or what?
Well, as a rule, yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, yes, well, I do, actually. I quite often go to a pub on my way home. But tonight I thought I'd really splash out on something a lot better. Go somewhere really nice.
Would you like me to join you?
No, don't trouble yourself. No, it'll be, yes? Yes, would that be okay?
In his very first term at Oxford, Rowan had a fortuitous meeting with a student comedy writer.
I saw this little advert in the university newspaper saying we're thinking of getting a comedy review together, you know, meetings at University College at a certain time. So I thought I'd beetle along because I felt as though I had an interest. And Richard was there.
Yes, Rowan and I met at a tiny scriptwriters conference in a Don's room.
In the summer of 1976. And I remember he was very bright, very talkative, which I wasn't.
Because he was very quiet. He didn't say anything for the entire 2-hour meeting.
But he kind of made up for whatever contribution I was lacking from me.
And then finally one day, we were asked whether we had anything we wanted to put into the review that we were going to do. And Rose stood up in the room and performed these 2 sketches that he'd worked out, which were replete with such flagrant genius. Unfortunately, it was the first time we heard him speak. They were completely wonderful.
The Oxford Playhouse provided a showcase where Rowan